developing right now. We have a lot of questions about those very scary moments in the air for passengers on a flight that made an emergency landing in Buffalo. We want to know what happened on SkyWest Flight 5622. News 4's Katie Alexander is following that for us. She's live in the newsroom. Katie, there have been a lot of conflicting reports about how many people passed out and what really was going on.
Well, Teresa, we are finally starting to get some of that information sorted out today. At first, SkyWest said one passenger lost consciousness. Now we've learned 3 passengers passed out during the flight, and at least a dozen people were evaluated by EMTs when they landed at the Buffalo Niagara Airport yesterday.
We all got lightheaded and got really hot and just felt uneasy.
Yeah, you couldn't breathe. Felt enclosed.
Yeah.
Felt like you're in an elevator.
Today, the Federal Aviation Administration is still working to determine just what happened. The FAA initially said there was a pressurization problem that prompted the emergency landing about an hour after the plane left Chicago O'Hare heading for Connecticut. Later, the FAA removed the pressurization problem wording from its statement. An FAA rep would not tell us whether that means that's been ruled out or not. SkyWest said in a statement today that maintenance personnel and local authorities examined the plane and found no indications of a pressurization problem or any other issues with it. But the passengers who were left shaken by the emergency landing say something did go wrong.
Everyone knew something was going wrong.
I was short of breath. I felt like I was going to faint. I know the flight attendant looked like she was about to faint. There was definitely something going on.
Mary Cunningham is a nurse who was on the flight. She was asked to help after another passenger lost consciousness.
I went over to her. By the time I saw her, she was pretty lethargic. Her color looked awful. So, I asked for some oxygen for her, and once she got the oxygen, she was looking a lot better. Responsive, and then all of a sudden the woman behind her passed out.
Pilot declared an emergency, according to a SkyWest spokesperson. And then the plane quickly dropped about 26,000 feet.
The scariest thing was really just the nosedive that happened. It was very obvious that we were descending as rapidly as we could at that point.
Once on the ground, passengers say they could not get a lot of answers.
We just got off the plane and that there was paramedics to meet us. That was pretty much all the information I got.
Again, a number of people were checked out, but no one had to be taken to the hospital for treatment. Most passengers were able to board a flight to finish the trip to Connecticut later in the day. At least a few, though, decided to drive to their destinations after their scary experience in the sky. Katie Alexander, News 4 at noon.
Certainly don't blame them. It was a good thing that nurse was on the flight, and there is always a lot that goes into the decision for a pilot to divert and make a quick landing like that. If there's ever a question about the health of a passenger, the flight crew will do what it can to get that ill passenger medical care. In this case, experts say it looks like the crew did the right thing.
The crew immediately descended and looked for the closest airport, which is a standard procedure for them to follow. It certainly was a prudent thing to do, and certainly something that anyone would want done if it was one of their family members.
Experts say if there's ever any doubt, it's best to land the plane. And